This past weekend, Demi Lovato got married to her now husband, Jordan Lutz, and they met back in 2022. If you don't remember, back in 2022, Demi Lovato was a very different person. She looked very different. She identified as non-binary, she was overweight, covered in tattoos, dyeing her hair. She went by they, them pronouns and wanted everyone to know that she was queer. And she just appeared to be very emotionally unstable at the time. Well, she has gone through a complete transformation since then, since her romance began with her now husband. And she has gone back to looking conventionally attractive. She has lost the extra weight. She has long, beautiful hair again. And she just looks like she's gone through a second glow up. She's caught a second wind in life. And a lot of people on the right are noticing this change that she's gone through and want to credit the cultural vibe shift for Demi Lovato's transformation, for her glow up here that we observe.
Let's look at these pictures then side by side. So here was the, this is old Demi Lovato.
Yes.
Right? She has the Courtney Cox and Scream 3 haircut.
Non-binary, growing out the buzz cut. She's talking about her pronouns. And now we have current day Demi Lovato. And friend of the show, Morgan McMichael, said Demi Lovato has done a full 180 from mentally ill, self-proclaimed non-binary person to a now married woman who is glowing. I love this for her. Ultimate glow up. And some of the comments said Ozempic seemed to help her as well.
Wait, is Demi Lovato the one who just like gave up on the pronouns because it got too complicated?
She did.
Yeah, she's like, I can't do this anymore because I keep screwing up my own pronouns.
That was back in 2023 when she had already started her relationship with her now husband. Another one said, we just needed a new president. They're saying Trump's re-election is the reason behind Demi Lovato having a glow up and settling down with a man instead of embracing her queerness.
This is what I meant earlier when I used the word leeching, and it's not the right word, but there is this sort of like, if you exist in the world of politics, you then start framing everything in the world around the things that catch your focus.
We missed a 20 value, and you said, Brett, Mary, what was high school like for you guys? Horrid, great, in between? Were you outgoing or introverted? What would you say, Brett?
I did not spend a lot of time with anyone that I went to high school with because I was skating full time. I was very detached from my high school experience. I was there, but only so much as like to get, you know, the diploma and move on. I didn't really have like I had friends at the school that I went to, but most of the people that I was friends with at that time, you meet through skating, don't live in the area you live in because you kind of go where the people are. So I was there, but kind of disconnected from all of it. I actually have my 20-year high school reunion coming up this year.
You should definitely go. I know you're not going to.
The chances of that happening are like, I wouldn't even remember I wouldn't remember anyone's name. And
that's the point. You know?
No. Just no, that's a big no from me, dog.
For me, I would say it was not horrid and it was not great. It was definitely in between. To be brutally honest, I was incredibly online during high school. That was when I was like consuming the most political media ever.
Yeah.
And that's not really the case anymore. And I was just like super chronically online. And I had thought, you know, maybe I should regret spending so much time arguing with people online and like trolling during high school. Like maybe I should have done it differently, but then I wouldn't have ended up in the path that I, you know, eventually went on, and then, you know, getting this job. Like why else would this happen? So I don't regret it, but I definitely wish I cared less about getting good grades because I did spend way too much time worrying about that. And I kind of would have just messed around more. I just would have like done more for fun. I wouldn't have cared so much about, you know, impressing a college. I never went to college. I mean, I went, but I dropped out. So why would it even matter? I just wish I didn't take that part of high school so seriously. But back to Demi Lovato.
But
You were
anyways,
in the middle of a
yes,
point.
Back to my point, which is that for people that exist in the political space, much like Mary did when she was in high school and they were chronically online and they think about nothing but politics, they start to frame everything in the world around them with politics. And if you make the assumption, even I can't tell if they were joking or they're being like half sarcastic, but if you believe that people are suddenly not becoming non-binary because Donald Trump became the president, I'm guessing that if you went up to Demi Lovato now, she's going to hate Donald Trump as much now as she did back in 2016. The only difference is she's going to want to hate Donald Trump while skinny rather than hate Donald Trump while fat.
Well, let's see here. I just checked her Instagram and she still has pronouns in bio. It says they, them, she, her. But it is true that back in 2023, she announced that she didn't care anymore what pronouns you refer to her as because it just got too complicated in the end. And she didn't want to have to correct anybody.
Just giving up.
She doesn't appear to be gender nonconforming anymore, though. That's the point that people are making. And clearly, she has taken a positive turn in her mental health. She's not, getting into fights at yogurt shops anymore. She has lost her extra weight. She's probably much more confident in how she looks these days. And that part, I think, is not fake, but people are reading into it way too deeply. I agree with you. Another response that you saw earlier says, she's living proof that no soul is too far for God's mercy to reach. I pray she continues to walk in his light with courage and grace. May her journey be one of healing, truth, and ever-deepening faith. We keep her in prayer. This has nothing to do with
God,
with religion. She hasn't spoken about that. She has said nothing about, engaging with religion or faith in any way.
There's something interesting about the idea that, and again, my natural instinct is to kind of roll my eyes at that. But I guess there's something to be said about the idea that you would relate natural beauty or, natural beauty back to God and to faith, which I get. That makes sense to me. On a
change on the inside and corresponds with a change on the outside.
That makes perfect sense to me. But you're also then just putting a lot on something that's just a photo.
Yeah, and then another comment said, "Oh, it's not done yet. She still needs to remove those tattoos."
When does it end?
Then you're not good enough for these people online who have already projected a new personality onto you.
I almost feel like if you're going to become again, as you guys, we talk about religion fairly often here, given your faith and me talking about being agnostic. It's like, if you're terminally online, the last thing I would want to do is to become religious, because then it's just going to become some type of back and forth. Like if you decide to be vocal about it, then you're going to have to argue with people back and forth about your faith all the time, because people are going to call it into question. At least that's how I see it. Maybe it's just because I was talking to somebody yesterday about the Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists debate. Was that Jubilee or whatever it is? And that's what I feel like it is. If you're terminally online and you find your way to faith, then you're just finding your way to just more people arguing with you all the time. And it would almost be better to just keep it to yourself and walk that path with God on your own rather than talking about it online. You have to be very sure about what you believe if you're going to have that discussion online, because otherwise you're just going to end up fighting with people back and forth.
Well, it's just weird to credit this to a religious conversion when nothing of the sort. There's no evidence for that. And we're also talking about the same pop star who released an album just a few years ago, the cover of which was her on a cross-shaped dirty mattress in bondage gear. And it was so obscene that it got banned in the UK. So clearly she is hostile to, I guess, traditional religious or conservative mores, and doesn't regret that.
But they're conflating the decision to get skinny and look traditionally attractive again with becoming traditionally moral.
If she's, in love and cares about being beautiful again, that's just a good thing, and we can celebrate that.
I do think this guy has youth pastor physiognomy.
I disagree. I think that he looks like
youth pastor MGK.
Yeah, he looks like Discount. He looks like MGK from Wish. He has, if you're listening rather than watching, he has face tattoos. He definitely looks more alternative. So I guess maybe she can feel like she expresses that side through him instead of herself. But yeah, I think this is fine to just celebrate it for what it is without reading into it even further. And same thing with Jojo Siwa.
Yeah,
a lot of people are noticing that Jojo Siwa suddenly is in a public relationship with a man. This is Chris Hughes, who was a co-star with her on Big Brother. And it was rumored at the time that her relationship with her girlfriend ended because she was cheating on her with Chris Hughes. She denied that, and she denied that she was even dating Chris Hughes, but now is suddenly posting all of these photos where they're embracing and they're publicly dating. So I think she was lying. And Jojo Siwa, it turns out, wasn't ever gay. She just needed to grow up a little bit and realize that it was just a phase, mom. And one person in this video from TMZ said that he actually looks like a lesbian, so it makes sense. But maybe that's just a bridge.
I'm with Dingus
toward
Khan.
being straight.
I'm with Dingus Khan about Demi's husband. He does have Aaron Carter physiognomy.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
I see it.
You are correct. You are correct, my friend. Yeah, I think her management was just like, this isn't in anymore. It's time to...
Demi or Jojo?
Jojo.
For Jojo?
They're just like, it's time to move on.
She's only 21 years old, I believe. She's either 21 or 22. She has barely been an adult, and she announced to the world who she was permanently as a kid. No one can do that and never change after that. You can't just decide, this is my orientation, this is my identity forever, here on out, and if you don't accept it, you're a bigot. And then you end up growing up and you become an adult, and life is more complicated than that. And it's not just about selling rainbow merch anymore. And Jojo clearly realized that she was too attached to that identity as a lesbian, and it wasn't true to her. Yeah. It was just a face. And it was a marketable one at that.
Yeah,
so.
the big benefit is that it helped her career.
Benefited her at the time, and when it no longer benefited her, she could abandon it and make a new spectacle.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.